What can you do? What can you do? I certainly don't have a time machine. I think Floyd Mayweather has a. If anyone has a time machine, Floyd Mayweather has a time machine.
Mm-hmm.
I do not have a time machine.
Well, you never know. You've still got some time over there, and if they've got those water parks, they might have a time machine waiting for you somewhere around the corner. So we'll see what happens. But just quickly, while we're talking about UFC 257, what was your reaction when you saw that Dustin beat Conor in the rematch?
Oh, that's a guy that's earned it. You know what I mean? Like that's his like his catchphrase is paid in full, and that's like 100% what it is. Like that guy wears his heart on his sleeve. That guy goes out there and fights his heart out every single fight. Goes out and continually puts it on the line. So it's good to see a result for a fighter like that, or a fighter which I see like a lot of similarities with our careers.
Did anything about Conor surprise you in that one? I know a lot of people were surprised sort of how the leg kicks was such a big impact on him in the fight.
In terms of what?
Nothing in the Conor McGregor that we kind of, I suppose we saw.
Nothing in the sport surprises me anymore. That's why we play this sport and why we like this sport, because it's just an absolute roller coaster.
Because you guys are pretty familiar with the calf kicks as well, I was going to say. And when I was watching the way that Dustin was fighting Conor, I thought, man, maybe that was the strategy that Dan and the team would have had if he would have faced Conor McGregor eventually. The calf kicks.
Well, there's not many good southpaw calf kickers, like, come to think. Yeah, like that's like a new one. The like two orthodox fighters calf kicking is like a pretty familiar sight, but at the top level, yeah, southpaw versus southpaw. Yeah, that's like definitely a new tool that I haven't seen from Dustin. He kicks a leg, or he's a low kicker, but it's good. It's a good weapon to kind of add to your arsenal, especially against Conor, who's not doesn't like overly respect the low kick from too many opponents.
How would you feel about a potential? And I don't even know if we should be sort of matchmaking with you at this point, but how would you feel about a potential Conor McGregor fight? I know Eugene was talking to Combat TV, and he was asked about that fight because he's coming off a loss as well. Is that something that would interest you? Do you feel
I say people's names and call people out and do all that kind of thing when it makes sense. When it makes sense, but I'm being practical about the whole situation. I'm back in the gym. I'm training. I'm wrestling. I'm grappling. But getting hit in the head is not even getting hit in the head is not even a thought of mine for the coming months. Like, you just got to be smart about it. So I'm not even thinking about that. So I don't want to sit here and say that, the headlines come out, oh, Dan Hooker's calling out this guy, Dan Hooker's calling out this guy, because I'm not at this stage right now. I'm not thinking about it. Like that will come when I'm back in the gym and feeling 100%, or I am feeling pretty good, but when I'm ready to fight and get back in there, I feel like that's the conversation. But to sit here and to say names and to say I'm going to fight this guy and say I want this guy when it's so far down the track, I think is I feel like that would just be talking shit. I feel like
this is the time to call out Brock Lesnar, by the way. This is the moment right here.
It's our last person I want to get hit by.
Yeah. And just FYI, you said Conor's name, so that's enough to stitch a headline in there. Dan Hooker. No, just kidding.
It's too late, Dan. The headline's there. You might as well talk about it.
Thanks for the clicks, Dan. No, but
cut it all together. You'll cut it all together.
It'll be like Homer Simpson on Newsline. But no, I wanted to ask you, timeline-wise, what do you think it looks like for you? You're not even thinking about, like proper head sparring or anything. Do you think you could be taking sort of an extended break? Especially while the pandemic and travel and stuff is pretty crazy and up in the air. Do you think you might take a little bit of a break at the moment?
I feel like it'll be good to because I've been out of sync with the boys for a while. I've been out of sync. It's pretty cool it's pretty cool watching like I get pretty jealous like watching all the other boys like getting on the same card or like roughly around the same time, and they're like all and like moving as a team and all kind of in it together. That's like cool to watch, but that's something that I've had to for the last year kind of sit out of sync with my team, and I'll get back in the gym and they're all away like fighting and things like that. So it'll be cool to like jump back in sync with like Israel, Kai, Brad, like and Vulcan, the rest of the boys. So and that works like timeline wise as well. They bang these fights out in March, and then a few months after that, when they're looking to get back in, 2-3 months after March, it'll be cool to get back in timeline wise. It'll be cool to get back in sync with my team and with the boys.
Next week, someone falls out at UFC 259, and Dan Hooker just comes right back in March. Hey, Dan, I was also going to say before we moved off the topic of when you're going to come back, I know you've been in quite a few wars and stuff, and people have wondered if there's any sort of lingering damage there. How are you feeling? How is the body feeling? I know you're just after a fight and it's just finished up, but just in general, do you still feel the same like you did a couple of years back? Are there things that you're noticing from time to time from all the wars that you've had in there, or how's the body feel?
That's like a very different that's like a very different like kind of like I've never like you don't want to. I get hit a lot in previous fights, but it's not like I'm not like relying on my chin. No one like that's like a headline like Dan Hooker's got a good chin, or this fighter's got a good chin, blah blah blah. Like no one, trust me, no one has
Slay Newsweek.
no one has a good chin. Like I don't have a good chin. This guy doesn't have a good chin. There's just fighters that get hit and fighters that don't get hit. Like no one, trust me, no one has a good chin. You get hit with those gloves on. I wouldn't stick my chin in the air and let my wife punch me in the chin. She'll probably knock me out. Does that mean that she's a knockout puncher? It's just people get hit in the chin and people don't get hit in the chin. No one is No one has a good chin. That's a myth.